If God has been unusually silent in your life, it might not be abandonment. It might be a divine test in disguise, and the silence itself is speaking louder than words. You pray, but it feels like your words bounce off the ceiling. You search the scriptures, but they don't ignite your spirit the way they used to. You try to worship, but it feels like you're just going through motions. And deep down, you're wondering, did I do something wrong? But here's the hidden truth. When God is preparing to elevate you, He often tests you in silence. And those tests are not always obvious. The first sign God is quiet because you're being tested is that He's trying to reveal what's really in your heart when there's no emotional reward attached to your faith. Deuteronomy 8:2 says God allowed the wilderness to test the hearts of the Israelites, to see whether they would obey Him even when they felt abandoned. When heaven is quiet, your true motives are exposed. Are you worshiping for what He gives or for who He is? The second sign is the sudden increase in temptations that hit hardest when you're at your weakest. Jesus was led into the wilderness by the Spirit and tested by Satan after His divine affirmation at baptism, Luke 4:1. Notice the pattern. First the promise, then the silence, then the test. If you're suddenly being bombarded with old addictions, toxic people, or overwhelming doubt, it may be less about failure and more about spiritual refinement. The third sign is the stripping away of things you once leaned on. Your community distances, your routines stop working, and even the people you thought were assigned to your destiny start fading. This isn't sabotage. This is God removing the crutches so you can learn to stand in faith alone. Remember Job. When everything was taken, the silence wasn't punishment, it was preparation for double. The fourth sign is a recurring feeling that something big is coming, but being held just out of reach. It's not delusion, it's divine delay. God often quiets His voice when He's watching to see if you'll trust His character in the absence of His confirmation. Romans 8:28 isn't activated by how much you feel Him, but by how much you trust that He's working even when you can't see or hear Him. And the fifth, most overlooked sign is spiritual fatigue that doesn't go away with rest, because it's not your body it's your faith being stretched beyond its comfort zone. This is where many people give up, assuming God has left them, when in reality, He's closer than ever, watching how you respond when the spotlight is gone and the applause has stopped. His silence is the exam room of your destiny. The teacher doesn't speak during the test. If you're in a season where heaven seems locked, where your prayers echo back in silence, where everything that once worked now fails to move you, don't run, don't shrink, and don't assume you're forsaken. God tests in silence not to break you, but to reveal you, not to punish you, but to promote you. If you can pass the test of silence, you'll be trusted with the sound of purpose. So stay steady, stay planted, and let your faith speak where your feelings can't.